A woman is behind bars after fatally stabbing her ex-boyfriend over the weekend. At 3:03 a.m. on Saturday the 10th of June, authorities responded to a home at 4587 Mount Tabor Road in Red Springs, North Carolina on reports of a person stabbed. When officers arrived, they entered the residence and found 51-year-old Eddie Jones deceased. During the investigation, authorities identified Eddie's ex-girlfriend, 35-year-old Santana Marie Hunt, as a suspect. Santana was arrested and charged with first-degree murder. She's held at the Robeson County Detention Center without bond. Eddie is survived by his 10 children. The motive in the attack is unclear, as the investigation into the matter continues. A 43-year-old man is behind bars for a mass shooting that killed 3 people and wounded 3 others during a disagreement at a block party over the weekend. At 7:50 p.m. on Sunday the 11th of June, authorities responded to a shooting call at the 1000 block of Pennington Place off Edgewood Road in Annapolis, Maryland, and found 6 victims suffering from gunshot wounds. 3 were declared dead at the scene, and 3 others were transported to local hospitals in a stable condition. The deceased victims have been identified as 55-year-old Nicholas Morales, 27-year-old Mario Ruiz, and 25-year-old Christian Segovia. During the investigation, authorities identified Charles Smith as a suspect, and he was arrested later that night. Police recovered a semi-automatic handgun and a long gun at the scene. Authorities said that Mario was hosting a birthday party that night. Investigators said the dispute occurred after Charles's mother, Shirley Smith, called local parking enforcement to complain that a vehicle was blocking a driveway. Mario went over to Shirley's home to talk with her, and the two got into an argument. When Charles arrived home, he confronted Mario about what happened. Things turned physical and Charles pulled out a gun. I tussled over the gun when Charles fatally shot Mario. He then stood over Mario's body and shot him multiple times. Police said he also shot and killed Mario's friend Christian. When others from the party came to see what was happening, Charles retreated inside his residence and began shooting through his front window, fatally striking Mario's father Nicholas and wounding 3 others. By the time police arrived, Charles had his hands up and surrendered. He admitted to shooting the victims, or accusing them of shooting at his home first. Investigators said no witnesses they interviewed saw the victims with a gun. At a press conference on Monday the 12th of June, Annapolis Police Chief Ed Jackson said his department is not ruling anything out in terms of potentially viewing the shooting as a hate crime. He said ostensibly our suspect is a white male and 3 victims are Latino, but we can't draw any inferences from that. We have to look at every possible angle, he said. Charles is charged with 3 counts of second-degree murder, 3 counts of attempted second-degree murder, 3 counts of first-degree assault, and use of a firearm in the commission of a violent crime. He's been held without bond. A 21-year-old man is behind bars for allegedly killing a man whose body was discovered in a burnt home. At 1:14 a.m. on Wednesday the 7th of June, authorities responded to a report of a structure fire at 108 East Avalon Avenue in Longview, Texas. Firefighters extinguished the fire and found a victim later identified as 66-year-old Ronnie Moody deceased. Authorities suspected foul play, and officials launched a homicide investigation. The following day, police arrested Donald Ray Miller Jr. on charges of arson and murder. He's held at the Gregg County Jail on a $200,000 bond. Police did not specify the suspect's relationship to Ronnie or a motive in the case, as the investigation into the matter continues. 22-year-old Adrian Nicole Vetter is behind bars for allegedly abusing a 10-month-old infant she was babysitting. At 4:04 p.m. on Monday the 5th of June, authorities responded to the 100 block of Becky Drive in Wichita Falls, Texas, on reports of an unresponsive baby. Medics transported the infant to United Regional Hospital, where it was discovered the child had 2 brain bleeds. The child was immediately airlifted to Cook Children's Medical Center in Fort Worth for emergency medical treatment. A detective spoke to an emergency room doctor who said the infant had severe brain bleeds on both sides of his brain, and the injuries to his head were indicative of shaken baby syndrome. That same day, Adrian was interviewed by detectives. She told them that the boy named Sean was watching TV, sitting on the living room floor, when he had a seizure and fell backward, causing him to hit his head on the wood and vinyl flooring. During a follow-up interview a few days later on Thursday the 8th of June, she told the same story but was confronted by detectives with numerous inconsistencies in her original story. Adrian said she was arguing with her husband over the phone about cancelling her wedding. She said the baby was crying and fussy and was refusing to take a nap at around 11 a.m. on Monday morning. She then told them that around 3 p.m, she lost her temper, grabbed the victim out of the crib, and struck the back of his head on the side rail of the wooden crib with force in an attempt to get him to stop crying. Adrian then told authorities that she took the child into the hallway and struck the victim's head into the wall of the hallway forcefully. She said that the victim was also gasping for air when she struck his head on the hallway wall. She said that she then took the child to the living room, set him down on the floor and went to the kitchen to get him some milk. She said she returned to find him unconscious and not breathing. She told officers she had mental health disorders, but claims that she takes medication for the disorders. A forensic pediatrician at the Children's Hospital told police that she believes that Adrian was downplaying what happened. She said that she believes that Adrian forcefully struck the victim's head on the crib and wall several times, not only one time each as Adrian claimed. The child suffered seizures due to severe abusive head trauma and injuries to his spine, including severe sprain and fracture to the upper part of his neck. The baby's in a very critical condition, and it's unclear whether he'll survive. Detectives later spoke to the victim's mother, Felicity Dishman, who said that Adrian told her the same story about what had happened as she told investigators. She said Adrian had been watching a 10-month-old son for 2 weeks, and that Adrian has a temper, but she's never seen her take it out on children, just her own dogs. On Friday the 9th of June, Adrian was arrested and booked into the Wichita County Jail. She's charged with injury to a child and is held on a $1 million bond.